It's why is it actually so hard for us to let go of things that we know is not serving us, that we know is not making us happy? We're going to be talking all about how to let go of what's no longer serving you in life, whether that be people, friends, things you're doing, a job, whatever it may be. Your energy and intuition is always there to tell you when something's unaligned. You will know when it's time to let go of something. Whether you choose to ignore that or not, that's a whole different story. I wasted so many years of my life repeating the same cycles over and over and over again. I stayed in jobs way longer than I should have. I know I should leave, but it's just you feel so comfortable sometimes that it's so hard to do the right thing. I'm here to let you in on the mistakes I made to fast track your progress, so you don't have to waste years and years of your life doing things that aren't making you happy. If nothing changes in your life, nothing will ever change. Do not waste another year of your life spinning around in a negative environment or doing things that you're not enjoying. If you're clinging and holding on to things that are not making you happy, there's no room for anything better to enter your life. If you're staying in a relationship that's comfortable, that's just not making you happy, there's no room for anyone better to come along, or there's no room for you to meet anyone better, because that space is already filled. It's already taken. Similarly, if you're staying in a job that you absolutely hate, you're dreading going to work every day, you're so not arsed waking up in the morning to go into work. If you're staying in that job, there's no room to find another job, because again, you're too consumed with the job you already have. There's no space for anything better to come into your life. We hold on to people, stay in places, stay in jobs that are unaligned because it's comfortable and it feels safe to us, even though they're not adding anything to our life or probably not making us happy whatsoever. Letting go is the key to making space for something new and something so much better. So if you're feeling stuck and you're struggling to move on for something that you know is no longer serving you, this episode's for you. So the first thing we're going to go on to is, why is it actually so hard for us to let go of things that we know is not serving us, that we know is not making us happy? It seems a bit ridiculous that we hold on to things that are actually making us unhappy, but there's a reason for it. Whether it's a person, a job, a situation, parting with a thing that's such a big part of your life can feel so unsettling, and a lot of the time very fucking scary. But why is that? The first reason is because our brains see these things as being really comfortable, really safe. It's what we're used to. It's familiar to us. Even if they're no longer serving us, it's what we're used to. It's what we've become accustomed to. We cling on to what's familiar to us because familiarity is comfort. Our brains are naturally drawn to patterns and routines and what we're used to doing. It feels safe, but that's also when we end up stuck in the same unhappy negative cycles. We feel like we're so stagnant in life and we're not moving forward. Breaking out what's familiar to us can feel like just stepping into the unknown and stepping into the dark, and that's why it's so scary, even though it could lead to a better life. But here is a harsh truth. The only way you're ever going to create your dream life, a life that actually excites you to wake up for each day, a life that you're buzzing to jump out of bed for and live, is if you get outside your comfort zone. How much you're able to grow and progress as a person is directly proportional to how much discomfort you're going to handle. The second reason why we tend to keep things in our life that are no longer serving us is due to fear of loss or fear of regret. We worry that if we do let go, we'll somehow lose a part of ourselves or really regret it down the line. We think things like, oh, what if I'm wrong though? Or what if this person I'm with, what if they could change? Or what if this job I'm in that I actually hate, what if it gets better? But here is another harsh truth. If someone or something is truly right for you, it will not feel like a struggle. It will not feel like effort to keep it in your life. And if it does, that is a sign to move on. And the last reason why people tend to keep things in their life that are no longer serving them is due to their own self-worth. Sometimes we cling to people and situations because we tie the sense of our worth to them. Maybe we've invested a lot of time in this thing, or a lot of love in this person, or a lot of energy, and it feels like letting this thing go would be wasting all of that. But it is not failing, realizing that something's no longer serving you. You're wasting so much more time. In fact, letting go is such a big sign of actual self-respect. It means you're not willing to settle. You're not willing to settle for less in a job, in a person, moving on from something, even if you've invested a lot of time into it. Means we just respect ourselves to want more. Moving on from something, even if we've invested a lot of time into it, just means we respect ourselves enough not to settle for less. Letting go and giving up are not the same thing. Letting go is the ultimate form of self-respect. You're basically saying, I trust myself enough to release what's no longer serving me, to make room for what truly aligns with me. We are allowed to move on from what we've outgrown, even if we've invested a lot of time, love, and energy into it. Nothing invested is ever wasted. It either teaches us, it improves us, it shapes us, we can take lessons from it, and it's preparing us for what's to come next. Self-worth is not about clinging to things to prove our value. It's about knowing we are valuable regardless of what stays or leaves in our life. It's knowing that our worth is not affected, even if something doesn't work out, even if someone doesn't choose us or if something rejects us. And when we reach that place of knowing our self-worth is not dependent on external factors, that's when we actually have the power to choose what's actually really right for us and going to make us the most happy and fulfilled version of ourselves, instead of always just settling for what's familiar, what's comfortable, what's easy. So now we're going to move on to recognizing, when is it time to let go of something? The question I get a lot. The biggest indication for me is how we feel when doing something or being around or spending time with someone. The biggest indicator for me is, do you feel energized or do you feel drained? So I'm going to apply this to a few situations. Say when it's time to let go of friends and move on and make new friends. If you're around a friend group and you feel drained after, you feel like you could just sleep for about 10 hours, you don't feel motivated for life, you don't feel excited, that is A sure sign that it's time to move on and progress and make new friends. With a partner, let's say you're around your partner and you're constantly just feeling drained, you're feeling negative, you're feeling blah. That is a sure indication that it's time to move on. Similarly, in a job, if you're constantly going into work and you're feeling, oh my God, I'm so drained, I can't be arsed, I really don't want to go to work today, that is a sure indication that something better is out there for you. And you should try leaning into the discomfort of trying to find something else. Even though it might seem scary, might seem unknown, it might seem unfamiliar, trying to find something else that's more aligned, that's actually going to allow you to wake up excited to go to work. If you're constantly feeling exhausted or negative when you're around certain people or in certain situations, that's a sure sign it's time to move on. Healthy relationships and environments give you energy. Toxic environments drain you. Second way you know it's time to move on is if there's a misalignment with values. People change over time and that's completely fine. Like, I am a completely different person than I was 2 years ago. Some of my best friends I would have had 2 years ago are no longer in my life, and that's okay. My values changed. I no longer value drinking, going out, partying. Some of their values mightn't have, so that's what they love doing, and that's absolutely fine. People change, and that is okay. But if you find your core values are no longer aligned with the people or situations around you, that is a sure sign that you need to reevaluate where you're at and possibly make changes and move on. And let go of some things. And the third way you know that it's time to move on from something is if it's holding you back from growth. If someone or something is keeping you stuck in old patterns and limiting behaviors, or stopping you moving towards your goals and progressing in life, that is a clear signal that it's time to let go. We as humans are meant to grow. We're meant to evolve. We're meant to improve. We're not meant to stay the same. And anything that is consistently keeping you stuck and not serving you, not pushing you on, needs to go. It's time to let go. So we've covered so far why it's so hard to let go, when it's time to move on and let go of something. Now we're going to dive into how to actually let go, the hardest part. The first thing, and I absolutely love this concept, I call it feel it to heal it. I used to be the type of person that I would run away, fucking sprint away from any negative emotion or any feeling in my life that I didn't want to feel. I just constantly distract myself. If I knew I had to let go of something like a job or a person, I wouldn't deal with it. I just run away. I'd go make plans with friends. I'd go for a sea swim. I'd go for a run. I'd go to the gym. Absolutely anything to stop myself from feeling the negative emotions associated with letting go. But in the last few years, I realized the only way to actually let go of something that's not serving us and move on and progress in life is to sit with our feelings and allow ourselves to experience the negative emotions. You can never let go of something you haven't fully processed. You have to acknowledge your feelings. Whether it's grief, anger, sadness, disappointment, the easiest option is just to distract yourself to bits and not allow yourself to experience the negative feelings. But that is exactly what's keeping the feelings stuck inside us. You have to sit with them, journal about them, talk about them, and just let yourself have a cry and just grieve. Avoiding your emotions just makes them stick around for longer, which is not what we want. We want to progress, we want to move on and let go of those things that are no longer serving us. Now, in saying that, we don't want to spend day after day after day just feeling sad, feeling sorry for ourselves. So I like to allocate a particular time of the day, whether it be 10, 15 minutes, just sit there, journal about your feelings, talk about your feelings, allow yourself to sit with the feelings and feel the feelings, and then move on. Don't let it carry on day after day after day. Set yourself a time block, sit down, journal, talk about it, let them out, and then move on. The second thing you're going to have to learn and do to let go of what's no longer serving you is accepting what is. In life, there's certain things we can control and there's certain things we can't control. And getting so worked up and caught up with trying to control the things that we can't actually control, that's what keeps us stuck in life. Because we're wasting so much energy trying to control other people, trying to control the weather. We actually have no real control over those things. Letting go of things that no longer serve us starts with accepting the fact that we can't control everything. You can't rewrite the past. You can't force someone else to change. You can't make a situation turn out the way you want it to. And that's okay. Acceptance doesn't mean you like or agree with what happened. It just means you're no longer resisting reality. Things are the way they are. And when we start reeling back our energy into controlling what we can actually do to improve ourselves, that's where your real power lies. So how we can take action on this is making a mindset shift. So how we're going to take action on this is we're going to make a mindset shift. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? We're never going to use that phrase again. We're never going to say, oh, why is this happening to me? Why me? We're going to say, what can I do with what's happening to me? How can I use this thing to propel me forward, to take motivation from it? Even the worst things in life, we can take motivation from. 2 years ago, I lost my job. I could have been like, oh, why is this happening to me? Poor me. But I didn't. I used it as fuel. I was like, I am never going to work for someone else ever again in my life. I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to create my dream life. I used it as fuel to propel me forward. So we're going to cut out the phrase, why is this happening to me? And we're always going to replace it with, what can I do with what's happening to me? The third way to let go is detaching from the outcome. And this was a tough one for me because I love to be in control. I'm very action oriented. I love to make things happen, but sometimes we just need to detach from the outcome. We can only do what we can do. The outcome is sometimes uncontrollable. Sometimes what we hold on to isn't the thing itself. It's our expectation of what should be happening or how things should be going. Whether it's a relationship, a job, or even an idea of who you thought you'd be by now. Detaching from the outcome means releasing your grip on how things should be or how things could be better and just accepting again what is. So what we're going to do here is we're going to write down something that we've been clinging on to. And you're going to ask yourself, what would it feel like just to let go of this expectation and go more with the flow of life? The fourth thing we're going to do to make letting go easier is to focus on what's next. The best way to let go of something is to shift your focus to what's ahead and get excited about life. Start dreaming about the new space you're creating in your life and what's to come into it. What do you want to bring in? Let's not focus on the shitty relationship you just left. Let's focus on what you want in your next partner. How do you want them to make you feel? What do you want them to do for you? How do you want them to act? What do you want them to look like? Stop focusing on all the negative and the shitty job, but let's focus on what you want from your next job. Do you want to own your own business? Do you want a job that is a really nice, healthy working environment? Do you have 2 days at home and 3 days in the office? Focus on that and get excited about what is to come and what's going to fill that space. Letting go is so much easier when we shift our focus to what's to come and get excited about the future. So the mindset shift we're going to make here is we're never going to say I'm losing something. We're going to replace that with I'm making space for something better. Letting go is so powerful. It gives you so much energy back. You're no longer being weighed down and held back by what's not serving you. You're going to feel more aligned with your goals. You're going to be able to get closer to your dream life. And you're going to feel so much more freedom. You're no longer tied to the past. And you're no longer in so much fear of the future because you're taking action towards it. So I'm going to leave you a little challenge for this week. I want you to identify one thing in your life that's not serving you. It could be someone in your life, like a person in your life. It could be an aspect of your job. It could be your environment that you work in, your environment that you live. Anything in your life that you feel is not serving you right now. And I want you to commit to one small action step that's going to start making progress to letting it go. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. As long as you're taking action, no matter how small, and you're being self-aware to identify what's actually not serving you and what's actually holding you back, you're going to make progress and you're going to grow and you're going to level up. That's all for today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, rate it 5 stars, and we'll be back next week with another banger.